The year is 1942. The world is at war, but for families far from the front, the battle is fought at the dinner table. The fear wasn't just bombs or telegrams. It was the gnawing anxiety of not knowing what you'd eat tomorrow. Enemy U-boats cut off supplies, farmland became battlefields, and for Britain, which imported over half its food, the threat of hunger was real. Every empty shelf, every queue at the grocer's was a reminder of how fragile life had become. Parents worried about feeding their children, and the simple question, "What's for dinner?" became a source of dread. Food, once a comfort, now symbolized a world turned upside down. In this climate, people sought control where they could, by stockpiling what little they could find. Building a pantry became an act of defiance, a way to fight back against chaos. Stockpiling wasn't just practical, it was a battle for security and a sense of normality. The home front was a battlefield of its own, fought with ration books and ingenuity. In the shadow of war, the pantry became a fortress. Rationing became the global answer to scarcity. In Britain, ration books dictated every family's weekly allowance: bacon, butter, sugar, meat, tea, cheese, eggs, each strictly limited. The US followed with its own system, red and blue points for meats and processed foods, sugar and coffee tightly controlled. For Americans used to plenty, these limits were a shock. In occupied Europe, rationing was harsher, often starvation level, with the best food seized by occupying forces. Black markets thrived, and for many survival depended on luck and resourcefulness. The ration book became a lifeline, its coupons the difference between a meal and going hungry. Housewives queued for hours, hoping for a bit of cheese or jam. Losing a ration book was a disaster. Rationing reshaped society's relationship with food, teaching the value of every crumb. It was a hard lesson in shared sacrifice and discipline. The world learned to make do and to never take food for granted. With rations tight, families turned cupboards into mini warehouses. Canned goods, corned beef, spam, sardines, tinned fruit were prized for their long shelf life. Dry staples like flour, sugar, rice, pasta and oats became essentials, stretching rations and filling bellies. Pulses, beans, peas, lentils replaced scarce meat, forming the backbone of stews and soups. Powdered milk and eggs, though no match for the real thing, became kitchen staples, offering protein and flexibility. Fats and condiments, lard, margarine, salt, vinegar were hoarded, every gram precious for cooking and flavor. Homemade jams and preserves turned garden produce into winter treats, making the most of every harvest. Stockpiling was about more than food. It was about hope, ingenuity, and survival. Every tin and jar was a small victory against uncertainty. The wartime pantry was a testament to resilience and resourcefulness. In every home, the stockpile was a silent promise. We will get through this. Stockpiling was only half the battle. Making it last was the real challenge. Canned goods were stored in cool, dark places, rotated carefully to use the oldest first. Dry goods went into airtight containers, safe from pests and moisture. Creativity in the kitchen became essential. Corned beef hash, pancakes from powdered eggs, stews bulked with vegetables. The Ministry of Food spread recipes and tips, teaching families to stretch every ration. Every meal was a calculation, how to make meat last, how to use every scrap. Nothing was wasted. Leftovers became tomorrow's meal. Careful planning and ingenuity kept families fed and stockpiles intact. The wartime kitchen was a place of constant adaptation. Survival depended on making every bite count. As imports dwindled, governments called on citizens to grow their own food. Victory gardens sprang up everywhere. Backyards, parks, even the Tower of London's moat. Potatoes, carrots, cabbages and onions became staples, chosen for their yield and storage. Novice gardeners learned from government leaflets and radio broadcasts. By 1943, millions of gardens produced nearly half of America's vegetables. Britain's gardens yielded over 1 million tons. The Victory Garden was more than food. It was resilience, purpose, and community. Digging, planting, and harvesting offered a healthy distraction from war's anxieties. Neighbours shared seeds, tips, and surplus, forging bonds in tough times. Serving a meal from your own garden was a source of pride and hope. The garden became a symbol of personal contribution to the war effort. Every carrot pulled was a small victory on the home front. Waste not, want not became the wartime mantra. Every scrap was saved. Potato peels fried, vegetable water reused, stale bread reborn as puddings or crumbs. Even carrot tops and cabbage leaves found their way into stews. Preserving was essential. Canning, bottling, and pickling turned summer's bounty into winter sustenance. Housewives spent hours sterilizing jars, making jams and chutneys, and pickling vegetables. The make-do spirit extended beyond food. Clothes were mended, household items repaired. Resourcefulness became a way of life, not just a kitchen skill. These habits built a generation that valued every resource. The art of making do was tough, but it taught resilience and creativity. With ingenuity, a little went a long way. The lessons of thrift and adaptation would echo for decades. The lessons of the 1940s echo today whenever crisis looms. Modern preppers follow the same principles: stockpile non-perishables, manage resources, reduce waste. Canned goods and dry staples, now including quinoa and couscous, remain pantry essentials. Long-life milk and freeze-dried meals are today's powdered eggs and milk. The spirit of the Victory Garden lives on in home gardening and community agriculture. The waste not, want not ethos is reborn in zero waste and root-to-leaf cooking. Stockpiling and self-sufficiency offer control in uncertain times. A well-stocked pantry or garden brings security and peace of mind. These habits connect us to the resilience of the wartime generation. The fundamentals of planning, preparing, and valuing what we have are as vital now as ever. The scars of wartime scarcity shaped a generation. Thrift and preparedness became lifelong habits. Well-stocked larders, no waste, saving for a rainy day. These values were passed down, teaching children to finish their meals and appreciate leftovers. The full pantry became a symbol of safety and comfort. Food was more than sustenance, it was control in uncertain times. Organizing a food supply was empowering, shifting anxiety to action. The wartime pantry's story is one of resilience and adaptation. Growing, preserving, and saving food are timeless skills. They connect us to our past and prepare us for the future. The stocked shelf, then and now, is a quiet testament to the enduring human need for security.